Looks good to me. Yeah.
I can't stand the handsomeness.
It's a handsome crew.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
This is nothing. This is easy pickings, boys.
Yeah, clean.
All right. Oh, look at that. Okay, Damien. Now hit the red button.
You want to do
The
some?
red button. Okay.
Oh yeah. Hey,
1, 2,
just hit it.
Welcome to the Sneaky Par Show, where amateur hacks try to balance shitty golf between careers, dating, marriage, and everyday life. Over to you guys. 4!
All right.
Love that sound.
Yeah. How was that? Do you guys enjoy your first sneaky par through the headphones?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
great.
fantastic.
Long time
Well,
listener. It's nice to actually be
You
on
got
the
to talk in your microphone, D.
It's overrated.
Come on.
There we go.
There you go. Is that good?
I have a loud voice.
There you go. Why is this all twisty? All right. Fix your microphone. There you go. Well, we got a packed studio today. You know,
Yeah.
very excited to have these guys. So these three were texting that they were playing golf down at Harborside. I'm like, hey, you know, you guys going to have a late round? You're going to have some drinks afterwards? Like, come by the Sneaky Par studio. So we're excited. We got Damien to my left. We got Dinsy to my right. And we got Joshie to my other right here. So welcome, boys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
No, thanks
thanks
for
for having
coming. So we got an assortment of drinks today. I think, Dins, you were just in Louisville.
Yes, I
At
was.
the Bourbon Trail. Tell us about this bird dog that you're talking
Louisville.
about.
Yeah.
No, it's Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah, you just kind of rolled that L.
Silent S.
Yeah, found myself on the Bourbon Trail this past weekend and was in, can go ahead and plug Justin's, nice little liquor, bourbon. Yeah.
Big fan of the show, Justin.
Yeah, well, they're about to be. And just was cruising through there and cool store, bunch of good bourbon. And he's got a bar in the back and he'll just open up whatever you feel like drinking. And, being a golf guy, as soon as I saw a bird dog, I was like, well, gotta grab a bottle of that because, you know, not that we ever blow them into the woods, but when we do, you know, you got to go bird dogging and go find yourself a ball. So, yeah, so we got a little bottle of bird dog here to sip on to keep us.
That's got to be pretty big in Louisville with, I don't want to say the southern people, but, you know, the hunters down there, like, hey, we're going bird dogging for the ball. You had how many times did you hear that term when you were down there?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to play any golf, but I know that when I'm on the course, I definitely do enough bird dogging. That's for sure.
See, we used to call bird dogging something totally different, though. That's my issue with this story.
Go ahead.
Like a bird dogging's a hunting thing, right?
No. Bird dogging was when the guys were going out, and one guy would go to the bar before everybody else and see if there's any hot chicks.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that before.
Okay.
Going bird dogging.
Yeah,
Well, and you're from southern or Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Southern part, which I think is relative to the location of where you're from, right? You don't hear that in Chicago.
Right.
You hear it from people who, you know, I don't want to say rural, but you grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
Right. And then I think that's a great term. I think like
How do you get nominated to be the bird dog? Like, who gets picked to go to the bar first? To be like,
You know, it's normally like Marty takes 45 minutes to an hour to get ready.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas I take like 10 minutes.
so whoever's ready first goes.
I'm ready, go, and then I bird dog.
So it's like a forward team.
talk back. Yeah.
Or forward person. Now, can you bird dog alone or you bird dog with another person?
I always did it alone.
Yeah. Okay. And then you call your buddies and say, hey guys, this is the spot. Justin's, whatever.
Or
you say,
sometimes.
hey guys, this place sucks. I'll meet you at the other place an hour and never
Yeah,
show
I'll be
up.
like, hey, this place sucks. Meanwhile, there's 4 incredibly good-looking women that I'm talking to. I don't want to share.
I mean, I like the idea. In theory, couldn't you, if you were going out as like a foursome, keeping the whole golf theme going? I mean, couldn't you basically say, all right, boys, let's all split up. Each guy go to a different bar and, you know, report back in and be like, no, we got to come here.
We gotta come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it all depends. Like,
You can go anyway.
yeah, you know what? If you don't like it, then you bird dog next time.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Get ready faster, Marty.
I don't think, Josh, you and I have ever, or any of our friends, because we're all friends, so we all have the same circle as like, I don't know, 20. There's probably like, what, 10 like good friends, and then like a couple, you know, tier 2 friends, I think you'd call them. But I don't think we've ever. We should do that next time we go out. Is like, hey, Josh, you go. Well, you're married, so you can't really bird dog.
No, that's better. If me and
I
Josh
still
are
know.
married, you send the bird dogs out first.
Yeah.
Because
nothing wrong
we're
with-
innocent little, you know, puppies walking around the bar, and then you bring in
Sniffing.
right.
Because you married guys can get away with that. Like the wives are, yeah. If you go out, go and try to find some girls for the single guys.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what we're doing too.
How did your buddy do? The guy that was coming here and then he was going out afterwards. He had the nice vest.
Oh yeah, Chi-Town. So yeah, you know he's known his buddy's a firefighter for a long time. They went to this PB&J's, the pizza, beer, and jukebox, the new place in the West Loop, and then they owned a place, some grain place that used to be the old Reserve. So it was a cool time. They had the garage doors open and all that kind of stuff. But you know, Chi-Town's the type of guy, he'll go out, one time a month, and then he's like, I'm so happy I'm married with kids. That's what I'll say. Because he's one of those guys that's like, hey, why don't you go talk to that girl? Why don't you go talk? It's like, dude, like, I'm okay just sitting here with you guys hanging out. I don't need to go in there and just try to talk to some girls. Now, my buddy, that I won't mention his name, but he's from a small town in southern Illinois. Him and his buddies would go to bars. So the four of us went to the bar. They would scatter. Like the cartoon, right? When you take it, like scatter on the.
Yeah.
They wouldn't touch each other. They would just boom, go their own way, do their own thing, and then if they met up at the end of the night, they did. But that was the first thing they did when they walked into the bar. And when he told me this in probably 2001, he's like, "Why do you and your friends just sit at a table and talk to each other?" And he was kind of baffled about why we did it.
Yeah, you don't want to meet up.
Yeah,
Well,
with the
no,
guys
exactly.
doing that.
I feel like with Marty though, most of the time the girls come and talk to him.
All the time.
He's a professional.
Yeah,
All
because
the
they're
time.
like
Let's not kid ourselves.
some radar goes off or something, or maybe he's got like some other like homing beacon.
Yeah.
It's the cologne. That I
He
wear.
makes it look very easy. Like,
Yeah.
when you're married, you've been married for a long time, you just don't want to put in the work anymore.
Yeah, you forget.
It takes so much time, like, go
Yeah.
get ready, go out. Like, if I get to go out, I just throw in this.
Though I will tell you, so Josh and Damien, who are here, and sorry, Dinsy did not include you because you weren't there, but these were the two guys that Daly AV and I murdered at Hilldale in the big old bet that we put the video on. I don't know what episode that was, but episode
listened
4 or
to that
5. So Daly AV's not here. The murder at Hilldale. Do you guys have anything to say about
Yeah.
your matching outfits and your pathetic? You took a 7 on a par 4, but continue.
A couple things. Because I want to clear up, and I told Dinsy this today. I feel like next season you guys need a fact checker. Fact checker.
I don't know what that. I mean, I know what a fact checker is, but explain.
Yeah, okay. Because like before we went out, there was some talk that the bet wasn't gonna get paid up, and I felt like we paid up appropriately. Not only did we pay up the bet, but we bought drinks and everything.
Yeah, but then you
afterwards.
asked
So we were
us to
good.
pay. You asked us to pay
Dinner.
the tip.
Well, that's because you brought someone else with that was your scorekeeper that like got a.
He's all our friends.
Got a full slab of ribs. He got like 9 drinks. I'm like,
He actually,
this
but he
guy.
videotaped it.
He did videotape.
He did videotape it for us.
Didn't get either.
He
of our
did
good
mess up
shots.
on 2 scores. Just
Yeah, that's true. We've been waiting for a rematch, and I know you've been busy with this. This takes a lot of time out. Me and Josh
this
are
is
ready.
an hour once a week after like 6 p.m. I have a real job. So this is nothing.
We've been listening to the show. We got rid of our white belts because you told us white belts were not
Yeah.
appropriate, which
I had to throw all 5 of them away.
So when we did that, we wanted to beat them so bad, obviously. They talked about it before we played. There was a lot of shit talking beforehand. We were at an event at Ridgemore where this whole thing started. They cover it in the show. But when we woke up that morning, I text Josh, I'm like, all right, we gotta wear the same color. And you would
Oh,
think,
you would have thought it
that's-
would be Joshie's idea. It was your idea.
No, and the funny thing is you would think like we started with like navy blue. Do you have navy blue? No. Do you have black? No. So we ended up settling on like
Pink.
I don't know what kind of
Lime
green.
green.
No, it was
the
lime. It was
green.
the ugliest green.
It was the
It's
worst
this green
yeah.
behind us that
It
you
was
can't see
worst-
the
it was
viewers.
worst
It's
green
worse
ever.
than this green. It was like a puke green, like almost like a. Who's
It
that
brought
dude in
out
the
Dan-
Who's the
brought
dude in
out
the trash
Damien's
can?
eyes,
Who's the
though.
guy in the
Fluorescent
trash can?
green.
Oh, Oscar.
Oscar. He
the
looked
Grouch.
it's Oscar the Grouch green.
Dallas.
Yeah, it's like Dallas. And then we showed up to
That's
the course,
delicious.
and like we're walking up with our matching outfits, and Dallas just starts laughing his ass off. And he's like, "Well, this is over. We won already. Look how they're dressed. Blah blah blah." So, but long story short, we're ready for it's 70 degrees in November.
Yeah, true.
If you can find time, I know you're really busy. Daly's got a lot of AV work. So if you guys can put the time together, me and Josh are.
I'm happy you guys can see the studio from like seeing it, see how kind of different it is here, and actually seeing where Daly AV does.
Yes.
Because all he's got to do is make sure that screen doesn't turn off. Now we can actually get rid of Daly AV, and we can just flip the screen off and see it ourselves.
Yeah.
I know this sounds crazy, but the way I pictured it in my head after listening and watching you guys was like in Boogie Nights where they're behind like the glass.
Oh yeah.
The glass thing, and they have all like the little things, and I just picture Daly back there, kind of like
No, yeah.
doing
This,
that.
I mean, we call it a studio, but I mean, those things are millions of
Right?
dollars.
No,
This
I
is-
know, and it's great. I just like when you get a picture in your head when you're watching something. You're like, oh, Dallas must be in like the booth.
Yeah, he must be like working the treble and bass and the
Well, you
the static.
You know, COVID is a great time to get rid of people the unneeded weight, right?
Right.
You get so Dally, you can just have that conversation and be like, "Hey, COVID."
Yeah. I mean, what's
We
his
don't need
severance
you.
package when we get rid of him? Like, hey, here's a 6-pack of Mars Brewery beer
Yeah.
and beat it.
And some AV1Xs.
Right. He's back in golf, so that's
So we did 2 weeks ago. We did a big caddy episode talking about caddies. I know we've all had experience of this. And Dinsy, one of the big questions that we had, and I don't know if you listened to it.
I think I did.
So my thing was, when you're playing on the golf course, and you're what are you at, 2?
No.
3?
3.
3. Okay. Look and see. Honesty. I'm just 3. 2.9, but I'll round up to 3. But the question is, when you're playing with a high handicap or a low handicap, who's more of a dick? If you're a caddy, because we had a couple caddies on the show, and my thing was the low handicaps that I've played with, yourself, a guy we play hockey with who's like a 1 or 2, are always uplifting. Like, hey man, you got this, next shot. Like, what's your take on that in terms of who's more of a dick, let's say, to a caddy? Is it a high handicap or a low handicap?
The experiences I've had are probably the higher guys. You know, the guys that are up there a little bit that have expectations of going out and hey man, I know I'm an 18, but I expect to shoot 79, and you're like, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're going to have your career round and you're having a career round with a caddy, that's awesome. Yeah. But I have seen that before.
So
where guys
when you play with a caddy, I talked about a good caddy can shave on my handicap, and I'm at 11.8 index. A good caddy can shave 6 strokes off my game, depending on the course I'm playing.
Oh yeah.
For you, what since you're not really shaving that many strokes off with a good caddy per se, like what are you looking for in a good caddy when you're out there?
Green reading, absolutely, because I mean, especially if you haven't played the course. I mean, so generally speaking, if you're having a caddy experience, it's going to be at a course that is kind of killer, or if you're on a golf trip and all that good kind of stuff. And I've had that experience where you just kind of get into a groove. Because I think the other thing for me, at least when you have a caddy, is like when you're walking and you're just talking with the guys, and the only thing you're really thinking about is just having a good time out on the course, which is the primary reason that you're out there. But the only thing you really have to think about is play and play well. And when the caddies, excited with you, like a lot of times the caddies that I've been with, they'll get involved in a game with you. Yeah. And the caddies will, bet, and then, they'll literally be telling you like, all right, man, we need to make this. Yeah. So all of a sudden by the 4th or 5th hole, like you're teammates with your caddy, to a certain degree.
So I'll give you like a hidden caddy secret. They're all huge gamblers, and they play this game. Most caddies that gamble play this game and they won't tell you unless you ask them. But they all bet on most of them carry 2 bags. They'll pick someone in every hole. And if you think about it, handicap kind of goes out the window with this. They bet on who is the last person to get on the green.
I think I heard that at the band.
Or the first. Yeah. Or the first. So if you think about it, it really doesn't matter. Like if you are a scratch golfer, you're going to be on the green in 2 for the most part, right? If you are a bad golfer like myself, it might take 3 or 4 shots to get on there. So when they have
or seven,
which we did in the scramble. So what they'll do is they'll pick up or down, and whoever's winning gets to pick, or whoever's losing gets to pick, and they get to bet on either who is the first player out of the foursome to get their ball on the green, or the last. And you'd be surprised if next time you play golf, pay attention. You'll notice that it doesn't matter if you're a high handicap or a low handicap. The way you get on the green or end up being the last on the green is always par 5. There's a chance if you're
like today,
very close to the green.
What was that story they were telling me today on 18 that you hit the ball, like you were in the shit, and then you said you just punched out and you're still on the green? You said it was 225 shot that you hit, and you're on the green in 3.
You were the last one on the green on 18. Yeah. You scored the best, but you were the last actual ball on the green, I think.
Excuse me.
So
yeah.
Excuse me.
But
is the clown coming?
I love the caddy experience. I mean, I think it's great. I've been lucky enough to play over in Scotland and Ireland, and those guys are, I mean, those are like, lifelong loopers, type deal. And they just have great, expressions, great stories. And I think that they add to it. And the other thing, especially over there, is the style of golf is so much different. So like, hitting run up shots and stuff like that, and breaks on greens. I mean, that's that's the other stuff.
But I think the other side of it though is if you have a caddy who, let's just say first green, gives you a bad read, kind of sours the round. You're like, all right, well, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And then you're kind of just like, well, and then you can read greens on your own.
Right.
You would like to a little course knowledge from that person, but for the most part, you can read them on your own. And like, hey, is this going left? He's like, yeah, it's going left, but an extra ball left.
Right.
Myself, if I get a bad read from a caddy, I'm toast. Because I already have
the rest of the day.
Yeah. Well, no. I've never had a bad experience with a caddy. Like every time I have a caddy, I don't want it to be awkward. I don't want, especially if they're one bagging it.
Right.
2 bagging it, it's okay because they can get the other person. But if they're one bagging it with me and we're just not vibing or feeling each other, it's a horrible 4.5 hour round. And most times when you have to take a caddy, it's a nice course. You're paying a lot of money for it. I mean, I always try to make it pleasant with the caddies. So here's if they're bad.
Yeah. Here's the next question for that. Would you rather caddy for Dinsy, and Dinsy's kind of a dick, but his
Obviously.
but his ball's in the fairway all the time, and he gets around pretty quick? Or would you rather caddy for me, who's like a lot of fun, and I'm going to buy you beers, and we're going to have a good time, but I'm hitting the ball to the right, then you have to go to the left, then you're carrying Josh's bag too, and you got two guys on the side. I think if you ask a caddy,
I don't know.
they would probably say I'd rather take the dick and just go and
Yeah, but who's going to tip more? I think that is in the back of their mind, is who's going to tip more.
I think the higher handicaps tip more.
Oh yeah.
If you know he's going for that.
Yeah.
But the
Because
low handicaps, though,
they're
like a
used
Dins
to
guy
it.
appreciates what he's doing, appreciates his knowledge of the game, and I think would still tip versus...
Yeah, you always got to take care of the guys. Here's a question that somebody told me to always ask in regards to the caddies is, like, when you go up to the green, first, second hole, whatever, is to say, what do you see here? As opposed to, what is this putt doing? And you go and look at your own putt and get it into your own mind. Yeah. And I was like, boy, that's a great way to kind of phrase the question of, what do you see here? Versus being like, all right, are we seeing the same thing, or are we on completely different pages?
No, that's why I will mention this, and Josh, it's one of your business partners. We won't mention his name.
Oh boy.
But we were on the second or third hole at a course, nice course, very expensive. And, it's the old thing of, I know my game better than Caddy does. Sure. Caddy knows the course better than I do. Oh, where do you find that balance? And if you find two people who have that mentality on a course, you're fucked. Yeah. And it was that whole time, he's like, my caddy sucks, fuck him. Yeah. So you can't have that. So I'm like, listen, if you can start pulling clubs out of my bag at hole 3 saying, hey, you're 150 out, here's your 8. Like, he knows your game. He's like, hey, man, I know what you want to do here. Just take this, hit it 200 yards to the aim at that hill. Like, then you know you have a good caddy, especially when it works out. But some people can't take that type of advice and want to think that they don't want the advice. So I don't know. I always find it weird when people they have a little bit of this animosity with the caddy, and the caddy brings it right back. It's not like the caddy's just like, oh, okay, sorry, Mr. Customer.
I'll tell you this as a higher handicapper, and I don't use caddies all the time, but I've used them on really good courses. I've been to Bandon, Pinehurst. I've also used them in regular courses where they're kids, right? First hole, I always ask the same thing.
Right.
You play golf? And he's like, oh yeah, I play. And I'm like, well, how do you do? If they say, yeah, I get to play here every Monday and Tuesday, I'm a 4 handicap. Then I'm like, I'm doing everything you tell me to do.
Right.
Now, if they're like, I'm just learning the game, I'm doing this well, I go to high school and I'm trying to learn golf, then I'm taking that for what it is.
I see what you're saying, but I might disagree with you. And I think Josh Ridgemore, could you caddy Ridgemore and be lights out?
I think so.
I think so too.
Josh should be a
but
great
Josh, but if they ask me to play, like, I play all the time. I'm a 16 index. Are you going to listen to him?
But he's also not.
That's my point.
Josh is a 16 index and he plays there all the time.
Yeah. All right. So then you have to ask 2 questions. Do you play, and how often? I play here all the time. Okay.
And most caddies get to play like wherever you're at. Free on Mondays. They get discounted rates, so they usually know the course. But you do get like double baggers that are like, I'm just doing this to like make a couple bucks or whatever, and then but they still know the yardage.
Well, we had one guy. I think I mentioned this in another episode. It's funny to mention. I don't know if you guys heard it, but we went to Lake Geneva Grand National. Excuse me, White Claws. Give me a little burpee. And he shows up to the course. I'm like, hey man. He's like, hey guys, you guys need a 4K? I'm like, yeah, we requested one. We're like, all right, where do we go? He's like, I don't know. Never 4K'd or never seen this course before in my life. And you just like, his only job.
Go to the first hole.
His only job then is to find your ball,
right?
Give you distances, and maybe give you reads. But he's never seen the course, so he doesn't know any knowledge. So at that point, what's the point?
Yeah, no, that's a rough one.
Listen. Josh and I belong to a club, the same club, and
they do a great job.
The caddy experience, whether it's 4K or real caddy, I would play around every time with a 4K or regular caddy.
Yes,
hands down.
Agreed.
Hands down. And when I don't, I get a little cranky.
Yeah. Well, Dinsy is actually, when you play with Dinsy, he's like playing with a caddy.
Yeah, so we should be tipping Dinsy at the end of rounds.
Oh yeah. He's like, oh, I didn't do this. Now stay with it. Just keep down on it. Yeah, oh no, you got a ridge here. And next thing I know, I'm like shooting a 95 and celebrating.
But even you, if you're playing as a really low handicap and you're playing one of the best courses ever for the first time, you're St. Andrews, you would much rather have a caddy than play it on your own, right? You want to like...
I mean, I would say yes, but from the standpoint, and I'm not trying to be a smartass when I say this, but probably my most epic round of golf ever was at St. Andrews, where we basically got on by accident, and because we were supposed to play the next day, and if Rads and Yanni Bo ever listen to this, and Ray,
we'll
because he was too tired, but I basically talked we had just gotten done playing, and I went down to just go sit by 18 and watch guys come in and putt because, you know, what the hell, we were at St. Andrews. And I just walked over to the starter, and I was like, tee sheet's probably obviously completely full, right? And he goes, how many you got? And I was like,
How many do I need?
yeah, I was like, how many do I
What's
got?
the limit?
Yeah, he's like, you got to force them? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, go get your lads. So I run back to the hotel, and it had just rained on us all morning. And we had the stuff hanging in the room and all of that good kind of stuff. And everybody undressed. We were going to the bar. And I was like, guys, I'm not promising anything. But I'm like, if we go down to the putting green, we might be able to go and play St. Andrews. And so we all loaded back up, put all our gear back on because it was still kind of raining, and the rain blew off. The sun came out, and it was about 4 o'clock in the middle of July. The sun was staying out till 9. And all of a sudden, like literally, he's like, just go over to the putting green. And I'm like, okay. So we go over to the putting green, and my buddy's looking at me like, is this really going to happen? And then all of a sudden, Dinsy on the tee. And I was
good
just
accent.
like, oh,
Sprinted up there.
yeah. And we went and played, and we literally, my one buddy at the time was a 12. He made the turn at 1 under.
Oh, geez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was 2 under. My other buddy Yanni was even par, and we're looking at each other. And we got to the turn, and we were like, all right, we got to get some beers. Everybody got to calm down.
No, they don't have beers there. I
That's
thought.
exactly right, because it's a park.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
at the end of it, and so we go into the little cantina, for lack of a better word, that they've got set up, and we're like, yeah, we need a 6-pack. And she's like, yeah, sorry, we don't sell any beers. And we're like, okay, we're gonna make it. It's gonna be fine. Everybody's got nerves. So we ended up having a great round. Yanni birdies 18. Everybody shoots in the 70s, has the round of their life. But the answer is yes. Going to a big time course or a course.
Did you have caddies when you did that round?
We didn't that day,
Okay.
but we did the following. But when you're playing a course that's like super, super tough
And hard, yeah.
and hard, and like the other thing that I think caddies are great for, and some guys don't like this, but I do, like, okay, you don't want to miss here. Like, I want to know, like, if I'm going to go for a green
Yes.
or, you know, like on a par 5 or whatever, like, hey, look, if you want to go for it and you're whatever the number is, 250 out, 260
short,
out,
don't be long.
Exactly. Or yeah, if you're right, the up and down from there is really tough. So yeah, I mean, I'd much rather, you know where to miss or what have you, to have a better chance of getting up and down, or know where trouble is, because that's the other thing that's frustrating when you go to a new course or a fun course, or if it's a blind shot and you're like, oh, I striped it right down the middle, but I didn't know it doggy left, and all of a sudden now I'm in the trees or in the water. Yeah. So that's where that, you know, I just find, like, guys, that can be really helpful.
I will tell you one con of having a caddy on a really good course is, like I said, I was in North Carolina recently, and when you're going to play Pinehurst number 2, you get a caddy. It's only walking anyway.
Right.
So you either carry your bag or you get a guy, and all the caddies are great, but you almost, as a higher handicapper, every time you ask them to do a shot, and they're like, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to hit it. See those 2 sand traps? I want you to hit it right between them and just get in good position. You're like, all right, so you get down there, and when you hit it and then it goes to the right, like it's you totally screwed up. Like, I'm apologizing to my caddy all the time. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Now we got to walk all the way over there.
My caddy in North Carolina, this last time I went, was Fort Bragg's like 5 miles down the road. He was Army Ranger, Black Ops, trained like all those guys. Like, really, but like a tough guy. And it got to the point where me and my partner were gambling against the other group. We knew that he was gambling against the other caddy, and he was great. One of the best caddies I ever had. But there were multiple times where he was like, okay, all right, here we go. You got to put it right here. It's going to roll that way. And I do it the right way. And he looks at me, and I'm like one of the time, actually, was like, I'm going to get down and just start doing push-ups.
Dropping.
He's like dropping like military terms on you. He's.
I was talking about how sometimes it's having a caddy on a good course, that it's a good golfer, it adds a little pressure to the shots you have to hit. Because when he tells you exactly where to hit or where to putt and you don't do it, you feel like you let him down a little bit.
I like the idea.
And I let people down a little bit.
I like the idea of visualization. So the caddy's like, okay, you're going to hit it a nice high shot. It's going to go right in between that trap, and it's got to go 170 yards. And then all of a sudden now you're thinking about it, and it's just like.
Well, and when you're on good courses,
got
whether
it.
it's resorts or if you're playing at a great country club or whatever, and you get a good caddy, they have so many stories that they share with you on the round. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like you just learn a lot about the course or the people that they've caddied for, or whatever.
That's one of my favorite things. Like when my family always has Christmas out in Arizona, so we always go, and then I always play the TPC Stadium course at Scottsdale. And the caddies are great about like, oh yeah, Tiger hit it over here, and this is where they moved the rock, and they had like 6 guys pick up the rock and move it, and then they put a plaque there.
Yeah, well, that's
it's
cool.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked on the show before. I love straights. It's my favorite course I've ever played.
I haven't played it.
So they just came out with the top 100 golf digest of 2020, 21,
Just got my
22.
magazine yesterday.
And I feel like it's, we work in an industry where there's a firm that people pay money to get ranked higher. So I feel like a lot of those courses are, but I was going through it the other day. I mean, I've played a lot of those courses. I'm sure you guys have too. And I was shocked because I think it's a mix of public and private.
Yeah.
It was on there, and I didn't see Butler on there. Maybe I missed it, but
No, it wasn't on there.
It wasn't on there, which is shocking to me. But Butler's probably like, we don't want to be on your stupid fucking list.
Right.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Leave us out of it.
Keep
Because it used to be
people
on there. Yeah.
The phones ring 5 times less.
Yeah. Exactly.
Everyone I know that it's in that golf.
I think the golf, and I don't know this for sure, going back to your whole fact check thing, but like I've got a buddy of mine who actually is a Golf Digest rater, and I think that
Can we get him on the show? Because
Sure.
no, seriously, I'd love to talk to him about how they do those rankings and like what goes
I
into
know
it.
they do it.
Yeah, and
I
so
do know how
I
to do
think the golf, and again, sorry if there's any golf magazine people listening out there, and I don't know this for sure, but
Probably not.
is that the Golf Digest ranking is a little bit more, has a little bit more cachet versus I think the golf magazine guy, because golf is at Sports Illustrated, I'm pretty sure, and I feel like that there may be some ability to buy some advertising or
That's exactly what
the ability
Yeah.
to
Well,
kind
it's
of
like
buy your way in. Whereas the
Yeah.
Golf Digest stuff, like they
legit.
send guys out, independently, and they rate the courses themselves, and you have to have a minimum of 100 of our raters that have played your course, and I mean they break it down by the decimal point of all of the different things that you have to have from a top to bottom experience. So anyway,
That's why you don't see some of like the hidden gems on that top 100.
Yeah.
Like
Well, you know
there's-
what
Well, that's
else
my
wasn't on
question,
there?
though.
Was Muirfield Village?
No, Muirfield was on there.
Oh, was it?
was.
Okay.
It was on there.
But my
High.
question is,
Yeah.
Butler, I don't know. I know Butler's well known around here. It's kind of had this lure to it. Nationally, I think it's kind of known, I think, amongst the elite golfers, big golfers. My question is, what other courses aren't on that list that are like Butler, that are just like, hey, we're so good, we don't want to be on your list? You know what I'm saying? Like, Butler has this, I don't know how you
I'm
say it,
shocked
right?
at that because I just got my magazine. I was flipping through it. Butler wasn't on there.
Was not- no,
Butler's,
maybe I missed-
Butler's never
No,
on
it's been
anything.
on there on the private, on the, I'll
It's
look
on
right
the-
now.
well, yeah, 'cause
on the private
No,
list, it's always in
okay,
top 10.
I
but
think
that
we're
list-
talking about the top 100
If Daly was
courses.
here, he could do that.
Top 100 courses, I'm pretty sure that Butler's never been on there because you have to to your point, you have to have a certain amount of people that play it. They don't let many people on Butler. No women.
Right. Well, the first time I had the opportunity to play it, it was through a buddy of mine whose brother was also a Golf Digest rater. And so
Yeah.
he got us on there. He was able to bring 2 guests. They said, yes, you can come and play it. You can bring 2 guys. He was nice enough. He called his brother, Jason, and then he called me. And that was the first time that I got the opportunity to play it. And so I do know that those guys, the Golf Digest thing, they take that one very serious. I'm just blown away that Butler wasn't on the Golf magazine.
I think
So I'm looking at Golf Digests of last year, and because Augusta was like number 2 or 3.
well, by the way,
this year Augusta was way
fell
down.
on a 9.
Was
So
way
that's
down.
crazy,
there.
yeah.
And like Pacific Dunes, which we played, is up top too. But Butler is on this one. It's not on the new one. So I don't know. I mean, it's just interesting.
I have heard that the PGA said that Butler would be the number 1 place they'd want to have a U.S. Open.
Correct.
But they have to fall into that category of taking
Yeah.
Well, they have
everybody.
to let
Women.
Yeah, let everybody.
Right, yeah,
in.
they
Women
have-
and
Even you.
Yeah.
They're like,
Even me.
Damien?
Yeah.
No.
Once I'm allowed to play Butler, once they're allowed to host. the
yeah,
US
there's
Open.
Butler right
Until that
there. So it's
happens.
on last year's.
Yeah. So what was it?
I don't know if it has like. It doesn't actually give you the number. Oh, 47.
Okay. Well,
I got a buddy that's a member of Butler, great dude, and he said, "Listen, once the old guard
Gets
is done, he's like, that's gonna have women."
Do you think Chicago Highlands is putting a little pressure on them since they're right across the street and they're getting like a lot of the?
Well, if you look
higher
at it, you
end-
got Butterfield, you got
Yeah.
Butler, you got I think Highlands obviously is more laid back than
But it's
Butterfield.
expensive.
It is expensive, but it's an equity course. It's privately owned, so there's no voting. There's none of that shit that we deal with, Josh. It's if they want to put a new cart path in, the owner or the private equity firm that owns it, whatever, they just do it. They don't ask you.
Yeah.
And there's like supposedly like no tipping. Like you can tip there, but it's not like you have to. I think that Highlands is more the family place. It's got an awesome pool, the paddle courts, and all that.
Pool's great.
Butler's for me. It's a second club if I could afford it. It's not my main club. It's
and you know what the other
Wait,
thing
did you
about
say
Butler?
Butler's your second?
no.
club?
If I would be at Ridgemore, if I could join another
I
club,
see
it'd
what
be
you're saying.
Butler.
Yeah,
Like you don't have a family like you two and join Butler. Like your wives would murder you.
They don't have a pool, right?
No, they have nothing. They
Yeah.
like, but I'm saying so Butterfield. Supposedly there's a 200 person wait just to be like a social member at Butterfield. Then you can join the course or join it full time. So
It's beautiful.
They
They have
have
3
ponds,
nines,
though,
right?
right?
3 nines, yeah, 3
They
nines.
have ponds.
Yeah, there's ponds.
Yeah, Damien seems like
Yeah,
more of a
yeah. You
pond
could go
guy.
swim in a pond.
Pond and pool.
I would
Pool,
s-
pond.
I
Yeah,
would
there's a
swim
pool
in
there,
pond.
He seems
But
like
you
more
think
of a
about
pond
the
guy.
money that's around Butterfield, Butler, and Highland. Like if you got
Caddyshack.
Hinsdale, you got Oakbrook Terrace, Bur- you got so many so much money there, and people are like, well, what? We have such great courses so close to us. Let's join one.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
and
don't know.
Butler's, I mean,
Cut
it's-
above.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing track and an incredible test of golf. I mean,
I've never
they're-
played, but
they're-
I've heard
their
it's super
greens
hard.
are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you better have your A game.
I've heard it's almost unfair for people that aren't.
Oh yeah,
Like
my buddy who's a +1 or +2 plays. He's a member there, and he's like, it's great, but playing it all the time, like
I
like
gotta-
how we play Ridgemore. If you play
Yeah.
Ridgemore a couple times a week, he's like, dude, it's draining. I brought him Ridgemore, and Ridgemore ate him up.
Yeah.
Ate him up.
All right,
And he
well-
shot like a 78 at Ridgemore. People think, oh, it's short, par fives. No, ate him up.
Playing Butler, I got to bring this back to it because it just reminded me of a caddy story. I'm on and great caddy, younger kid, younger guy, and was just really getting into the round, and I was playing well. And he turns to me as we get to the 16th tee, and now we've become a team. Now it's we, like we got to like the 11th hole, and I rolled into birdie, and he's like, God, we read that well, and I'm like, yes, we did, so we were like teaming up. So we get to the 16th tee, and he's like, I think we should hit 3-wood, and I'm like, all right, sounds good to me, man. And he's like, man, I can't believe it. I think we're like 2 over. And I just looked at him and I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm pretty much having the round of my life right now. I'm like, what? I'm like,
Shut up.
Everyone needs it.
I was just like, are you the guy that walks out to the mound during the no hitter in the 7th inning? I was like, holy shit, man, you haven't given up a hit yet. Are you aware of that?
Game
so,
ball,
yeah,
yeah.
so naturally I go double,
Yeah.
16, 17, and I'm like, and he's like, I shouldn't have said that back on the 16th. And I was like, nah, man, no.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But if somebody was not like you and it was having the round of their lives, and the caddy said that, and then went double to finish, they'd be like, God, they'd be pissed.
yeah, well, here's what was actually great. But then, I mean,
Dinsy was mad.
It was on me. I mean, listen, I'm the one that did it. But I knew where I was at, but I didn't know exactly where I was at. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I was just kind of in the flow.
Sure.
I was like, we had a good match going, all that good kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, I guess I was focused more on the match, and I was realizing, yeah, playing all right. And then kind of shit the bed, and
You still play Butler though.
yeah, no, exactly. I mean, there's a worse way to
I
spend
could
the
shoot 110 at Butler and be happy.
Right, worse ways to spend an afternoon. But yeah, what an amazing track and,
So,
and real good test of golf.
Anybody here got some trips coming up for some good golf? Or I'm going to Marco next weekend. Going to do a little golf down there
that's
at
nice.
Couple Core Hammock or something Hammock Bay or Hammock something.
Oh
and
yeah,
the Rookery.
Hammock Beach.
Is the beach?
yeah.
I played it before and it was great. And then the Rookery over there too.
That's-
So
yeah.
during Masters weekend, so that'll be super fun.
Nice.
Are we able to talk about this weekend?
Oh, it's this weekend. Oh, on Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but somebody didn't get invited.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get invited. It's all right. I'm just not good enough of a golfer.
So we're going to Southwest Michigan on Saturday. Where are we playing, Josh? What's the name of it?
Hawks Head.
Did you ask Nick at the club about a course? Get us on Lost Dunes?
No,
Or no?
but
Okay.
I just picked one.
Is it
that's
good?
close.
Good track?
Yeah.
Oh, you played it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
It's one of the top ones in Michigan, but it's not a. I haven't played it.
Oh, you haven't, but it's
No,
rated
I've been
pretty high.
wanting to.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Are
we'll.
you
I
upset
think
that
we'll
you're not
enjoy
coming
it.
with us? Or,
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
But it's all right. Not as upset.
I know we're stealing
not
your-
as upset as my wife.
I
would
know
be,
we're
but,
stealing your boyfriend Josh away from you for
That's
a
okay.
weekend.
I'll
That's
see
gonna be
him
tough.
soon.
That's
We're going to Palm Springs.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get invited to
December,
Palm
that'll be
Springs.
nice.
So
That'll
I
be-
guess
you did.
I guess I need to get a girlfriend.
Yeah,
So-
you got-
No,
Your
you got
girlfriend
invited.
has.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I barely got. I got the invite to Steamboat because I got to bring a girl or a person.
did
Maybe
get
I'll bring
invited to
Daddy D.
Steamboat.
Dins, you want to come to
I'm in.
Steamboat with me?
I'm in,
Let's
dude.
ski.
Let's go.
You and me in the hot tub late nights.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm very comfortable. Build a wall of
I'm
trust.
okay. I don't
Build a
wear.
wall of trust.
I don't wear swim trunks in the hot tub. But if you're cool with that,
Very open-minded. I'm very open-minded. No big deal.
I have I'm going down to Florida for Thanksgiving to see my brother-in-law. I'm trying to see if we could sneak out to what is that Stream Song? or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, that was on the list,
I'd
too.
like to
Both
do
those
that.
courses were
That
good.
I'd like to see. I just got back. I was fortunate enough to go down to North Carolina. What I would tell your listeners or anyone, Pinehurst is great. There's no better place for a buddy's trip. It's a good time. Everything's great.
we have that button there. Here, hit.
Hit the sponsored.
Oh, sorry.
So I don't know. That's preset on there. I refuse to use them because they're so cheesy. But
But
go ahead.
I'm going to do a better sponsor.
Special thanks
If you're
to
down
Pinehurst.
there, it's only 10 miles away. Mid Pines and Pine Needles is
Yep. I've actually done that, and I haven't gone to Pinehurst yet. But
It
yeah,
is.
we did a
an
double header
amazing
there.
experience. It's a third of the cost. They're down Ross courses. They're super hard, super fun, just great guys, places to go.
Oh, awesome.
So if you're making your way down there and you want to do Pinehurst, which you should, because Pinehurst #2 is fantastic. But the next place you need to go is
Go there.
5 miles on the road. And do that. Yeah. Well, Tobacco Road.
I think what's great about us now, and we talked about this in the course, is we have us four that are good friends at golf, and we finally got a couple of other two buddies, both of them back into golf.
Yes.
Right, and some other ones. So now we got a fucking awesome eightsome
Yeah.
to go wherever we need to go on the trips, and plus that, you two are good friends with the wives and married. And then the other guys are good friends with their girlfriend or fiance and their wives and kids and all this. It's all the mix. And Dinsy and I are just doing us.
Well, yeah, still handsome. Let's not forget,
beautiful. Get out
let's
of
not
here.
forget
Well,
about
you
that.
guys do the
I
bird.
can't stop looking at you in the camera.
You do the bird dog.
I was just going to say.
We'll go out and golf, bird dog.
Right.
Me and Josh will bird dog, and we'll go home, and you guys do that.
I was right.
I think the funny thing, though, that we didn't really touch on here with Damien, what he said was if you just happen to be traveling to North Carolina with your golf clubs and you want to golf and you're right there at Pinehurst, if you want to save a couple bucks, go to these other places.
Mm-hmm.
So they are less expensive. So you're paying a little premium for the name.
But
Well,
why would you
At
travel to
Pinehurst.
North Carolina?
Is it Pinehurst?
But 10 miles down the road to
Yes.
this point.
Why would you travel there and then go, hey, I'm going to get a bargain?
right.
I'm going to go to
You can only play
Pine
number
Needles
two
or
if you
whatever.
stay in the resorts. So
So you're saying don't go, if you're going to North Carolina, go to fucking Pinehurst.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Don't waste your
Yes.
time at the other
Yes.
Oh, if
place.
you're planning a trip, well, absolutely, yeah. You need.
But you can
need
take
to
a day
go
off from
there.
Pinehurst, and,
Correct.
and 10 miles down the road,
That's
you
what we
can
did.
you can sprinkle those,
We
two
split.
courses
We split the trip in half. And the funny thing is, you go to Pinehurst and everything is like perfect. The rooms, the restaurants, everyone's dressed up nice and blah blah blah. You go down to Pine Needles and Mid Pines, it's like log cabins, all dudes.
That's where we stayed.
No one. Matter of fact, I don't even think we got charged for half our drinks. We go to the bar because it's during COVID times. It'd be like, we need like 4 Manhattans and like 8 beers, and they'd be like, all right. And then they come back later and be like, did you order like a couple of drinks from us? And be like, well, yeah, we ordered 8 Manhattans or 4 Manhattans and 8 beers from you. And then like when we checked out, there was like no beers. In there.
Yeah, now the
It's
truth
like they're
is coming out.
barely like, yeah, they don't
It's
no
not
one
because
cares.
Yeah, it's because he
Yeah.
gets free drinks.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
cheapskate.
And the cool thing about going down to those places, whether you're Pinehurst or Mid Pines or wherever you go, everyone only, it's like a ski village. People only work at ski resorts because they ski. In North Carolina, people only work at these resorts or these golf courses because they're all really, really good golfers.
Right.
It's like you'll meet some some bartender. It looks like, he's 60 years old and he looks like he should have been retired years ago. And you're like, why are you here? And he's like, well, I'm a 2 handicap and they let me golf free here. So I bartend 4 times a week.
Yeah.
That's their life, which is
Dude,
really
that's great.
simple and
Yeah. It's
cool.
good life.
It's
How
really
many-
cool.
how
how
many
much
times-
how fun is that? You're like,
So
oh
cool.
yeah, I'm
The best.
retired. I'm a bartender. I get to meet. I get to talk to
Right.
golfers and meet guys. And oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
I happen to be a 2 or 3 handicap, and I get to go out
But-
and play Pinehurst at my leisure.
Yeah.
Like that's a
Pretty nice.
pretty decent way to roll.
But think about it. Like when we had good money in our bank accounts before 2008 and good money in our bank accounts before COVID, I can't tell you how many times I'm like, I'm just going to cash out, go down to an island, bartend at a tiki bar and just hang out there and
be-
use tips to
and be
just
good.
Right? I
And
mean,
be
I
good.
can't tell you how many times I thought about just calling it done, or even go back to my old college town in Kalamazoo. Like, I'm going to go bartend at some college bar, live in a townhouse, and just be that guy.
Well, and going back to the caddy conversation, if you work at Pinehurst, you are they have 9 courses there. You can play any course when you're not working for $5.
Oh,
Any of the
shit.
courses for $5. You get
Except
to-
for 2.
you get
What's
to
the
play
$5
two
go
and
toward?
4. I don't know, probably just to keep it.
Is it like the rate?
I have no idea. Yeah, that's the
Maybe
rate. They have to pay
you got-
$5.
Yeah.
But 2 and 4, they get to play once a year for free. Which, by the way, that's
I heard that.
$600
What's
golf
the
course.
main one? Number 2.
2.
I heard, and this is from a local, that's not even the best course down there. This is from, like I said, a local.
If you've never played number 2, it'll be the best course you've played.
Yeah.
Probably ever, right? You've played
Yeah,
it.
it's just
better
cool.
than
The
straights?
like the pines are and the
different.
trees are so
Different.
tall.
Yeah, and I'm
Oh
I'm
my
okay with
gosh.
it, but I'm just saying, this guy was like, no, there's so many better courses than 2. I'm
Let,
like,
let
well,
me, let me put it this way. The cool thing about number 2, and Josh can attest to this, is that all the fairways are super wide. There's no rough. You're hitting off pine straw. The trees aren't a problem. When you get close to the green complexes, it's like a whole other game. And I don't care if it was us 4. We've got a 2 handicap, a 10 handicap, and 2 16s. You will put off the green one of the times. You will put off the green into into an area and where you feel challenged. Every hole you're like thinking. It's just a really cool.
Nice.
And then there's a history. Like Donald Ross lived in the course and like it's beautiful and all that.
all
stuff.
right. Well, before we wrap it up, because that thing's going to shut off, what Masters coming up? Who's your pick? Damien, start with you. Who you got? Give me your pick to win and then your sleeper pick.
So I don't like him as a golfer.
It's okay. It's okay. It's
But
not
I
about
but I
liking.
do
Betting.
feel
You're a
like
betting man. You're a
if I'm a
big
betting
gambler.
person.
Yes.
I'm going to bet on
Don't
Justin Thomas.
Okay, good.
And then
And
your
then-
sleeper pick coming out of left field.
Not sleeper. Oh, I need a sleeper.
Not just somebody who you wouldn't expect his name to be on the leaderboard going into Saturday.
All right,
let's
come
say.
back to me on the sleeper. 'Cause
Okay.
I was
So you got
gonna say
JT,
Xander Schauffele.
Joshie. Who do you got winning it outright?
I'm looking him up right now.
What do you mean you're looking them up? You don't know.
Well, I was reading an article earlier about a guy that has been pretty good. His name's a little difficult to say, and I don't want to.
Is it
Bocce.
Finau?
No.
Oh. Is it
Go to Dinsy.
Morikawa?
Who'd you have on earlier that didn't? And I mean,
Schiller, that's our buddy. And
Okay.
I wish he
Who
was
didn't know
doing
if-
that on purpose. He's not. He literally doesn't know some of the
I
stuff that we
grabbed
do.
one of the I grabbed one of
You
the
know what's a great
episodes
flyer
this
pick?
morning, and
I'll go
I
back to a
thought you
flyer
guys were
pick
fucking-
that no one's going to pick, but I think
Who
he
you
has
got?
a chance to win would be Webb Simpson. I don't like him either.
Simpson. We've been talking about Webb Simpson
I
on the
don't
show
like him
since
either.
episode. Like he finishes in. So
He's always
our
around.
longtime listeners, maybe like the 5 of them that listen to every episode, know my love for Webb Simpson. So thank you for that.
Well, most of those things that you bet, like in those, the pools, everyone has pools.
Yeah.
All you guys have to make the cut.
Correct.
You want guys that make the cut.
No. I think 3 out of the 5 have to make the cut
For
in the one
Richie's.
we're in the for Richie's. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of them are like, if you have to make the cut, you want guys like Webb Simpson,
Oh,
Justin
sure.
Thomas.
You want Zach Johnson? I'm not.
Zach
You know he does.
Johnson.
I figured
Charlie
it out.
Hoffman. Like,
Oh yeah. So
guys
who you
like
got,
that.
Josh? Who's your?
Patrick Cantlay.
Oh, Patrick Cantley. Yeah,
Yeah,
Frodo.
he's really good, Josh.
Okay, and then do you have a sleeper pick? Like somebody just
That would
out
be
of
your
left-
good pick, not your sleeper pick.
Who's your sleeper pick?
Well, Patrick's not in the big. He's
Oh
not
yeah, he
even-
he won the
top 10,
last
dude.
tournament like 2 weeks ago, didn't he?
Yeah, but
He's a top 10 player in the world right now. He's coming in hot, absolutely. All right, think about that.
We'll give
Dinsy,
you-
who's your?
Well, that
your
was
pick?
Cantley was going to be sort of my.
That's fine. You can have him. Who's your sleeper pick?
My,
then?
You're not sleeper pick?
My semi sneaky sleeper. Kisner.
Kisner,
I
yeah, he's
like
playing well
Kisner.
too. Yeah.
Good putter.
Good call.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
and I feel like you've got to have, the proverbial master rookie. It's just not going to happen. Like, yeah, you might go out and do a Thursday, Friday, or have a really one low round.
The only problem they're saying out there is they're saying that Augusta will play like almost 500 yards longer because you're not going to get the roll. It's
Yeah.
going to be wet.
No,
it's
I'm
going to
with
be
So my pick to win it is Tony Finau.
Funny fun, huh? Okay.
I like him.
How much
I
weight
think
did he
he's-
lose during
I-
COVID?
I think
'Cause he
he's
didn't have a
due.
lot of
He's a
weight to
big
lose.
hitter, and my
Will
sleeper
break his
pick-
ankle on the park.
Yeah, is he celebrating?
They canceled that. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
They canceled the part 3.
And I'm going to take my sleeper. And you guys probably don't like this, but I don't know why I'm taking this guy. Terrell Hatton.
Oh
I agree.
Terrell
I
Hatton.
do. Yes, I'm
Love
telling you.
Terrell Hatton.
Though his game, his fieriness.
His
I think,
fieriness,
I
yeah.
think if he's playing well, I mean, watch out for him as a top.
All right, so can we do? You've got what? Cantley.
Cantley,
You've got
yeah.
who? Who's your pick?
Well, I guess
Let's all throw a 20 in. Let's just do a
Done.
20 and
Let's
they
do
can.
Oh, I'm
saw it here.
I'm 100% down.
I'll
with
take
that.
Justin Thomas. That's my guy.
JT Cantley. I got Finau. Who you got?
Well, I mean, if we're gonna go with my big
pick. You may pick, yeah.
my big dog pick, I'll take DJ then.
Okay.
Okay.
And then my
Then we'll do 20 on our sleeper picks. Whoever finishes the highest.
Or do you want to do aggregate score where you have
What
to
about a combo?
combine them together?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
All right, combo.
Here we go.
Combo of the
Combo.
your
and-
big pick,
but
and
they
your
both have
sleeper.
to make the cut, or just one of them? They both have to
they
make the
both
cut.
have to
Yeah,
make
they
it.
both
All right,
gotta
so
make
you
it.
have JT and
Webb Simpson.
You have Cantley and I don't think you
I didn't pick another one.
Pick
Yeah,
another one.
Cantley's in the top.
We'll
five.
I have
Betting
Finau and Hatton. You
Yeah,
have
and I've got DJ
DeChambeau.
and Kisner.
and Kisner. You
We'll,
have-
we'll give
No.
you
Bryson.
Fuzzy Zeller.
no, he's not a sleeper pick.
Well, yeah, but that's the
You got to
number
pick
one.
a sleeper,
Yeah,
Josh.
Someone that's in like
Someone in the group E in that whole
Yeah.
sheet of Richie's. Okay.
We'll give you Fuzzy Zeller.
I do like Fuzzy.
You want Fuzzy
Zeller?
You want Fuzzy Zeller? You want Ernie Els? Raymond Floyd? Who do you
I
want?
have no idea.
All right, so
I think Sandy Lyle's playing for the
Brant
last time.
Snedeker.
okay, that's a
Oh,
sleeper pick, and he
I
plays
like
well
that.
there too.
Yeah, good putter.
Yeah, good call.
All right. Well, we'll cut it there, boys. Thanks for joining us after
Thank
your
you for
round.
having us.
I
Good
know you got
time.
family commitments and stuff like that, so appreciate it, and we'll see you guys
Shit,
soon.
family.
Peace.